Skankfest, for those of you who don't know, is a comedy festival that for the last few years has been in Vegas. This was my first year going to it, but it's run by Louis J. Gomez and Rebecca and Christine. I don't know their last names, but I guess I think they run comedy clubs. There's something about the Creek and the Cave, I think, is what they're from. So Louis wants to start a comedy festival and says, let's get the corporate crap out of it. Let's just run it by comedians. For comedians, it's going to be a fun one. And I like these podcasts. Louis J. Gomez, it's called Skankfest because he has a podcast, Legion of Skanks, blah, blah, blah. For those of you who don't know. And if you don't know, then I'm happy you're watching. But you're going to have to just bear with me here. Because I assume if you're watching this that you have some sort of idea what a comedy festival is at the very least. This is Jeff Dye. I'm just going to skip through these pretty quick. Here's Ari Shaffir. Funny story about Mr. Ari Shaffir. Let's get a zoom in on him. So, I don't know. I mentioned Kill Tony with Cam Patterson. So, Kill Tony was doing an arena show on Wednesday in Vegas. And I guess Tony Hinchcliffe was on the lineup and Red Band was on the lineup. And all the Kill Tony regulars were on the lineup for Skankfest. But there was a show on the schedule Friday night. The first night of the festival, just labeled Secret Show at 8 o'clock. And everybody gets in line. And Jason and I are at dinner at the time while people are lining up for this, and I got a beer, and he had gotten like a Moscow Mule, and he was sipping on his a little slower than I was chugging the beer. So I finished my beer, and I was like, I'm gonna go back out and just check out what's going on. And while I'm outside, I hear people saying something, Kill Tony, and I was like, oh no way, Kill Tony's gonna be this secret show. So I go back in to tell Jason, like, hey, I think we should try to get in this line. I think it's gonna be Kill Tony. That's the first part of the story. Blah, blah, blah. Kill Tony starts. It's a great episode. I won't spoil it for everyone. Actually, yes, I will. Ari Shaffir and Jim Norton were the hosts. I'm only saying this because this will come out before Kill Tony comes out. And if you hear this story, then when you see Kill Tony's episode come out with Jim Norton and Ari Shaffir, you'll know to say, oh, that's the one Harrison was at. And you're going to want to watch it. Because at the end of it, and it ran like a regular Kill Tony. The regulars were there. Hans Kim, Cam Patterson, Casey Rocket. At the end of the show, Ari Shaffir's squirming in his seat. And Tony Hinchcliffe goes, Ari, what are you doing over there? And Ari goes, sorry, Tony, I really got to take a piss. And he stands up and he pulls out his penis and he starts peeing into an empty coffee cup. And as he's doing this, a naked woman comes out with a big cardboard sheet. And I'm thinking, like, is she about to, guard Ari? I'm not trying to sit here and sound like, oh my God, don't cover it up. We all want to see his penis. But it's just like, it would have been surprising if they did that, given the debauchery and the degenerates at this festival. I'd just be surprised if they're like, hey, you can't see a penis. But they don't hold it in front of them. They just throw it onto the ground. It's just a tarp on top of a piece of cardboard. And Ari's peeing into this cup. And finally, the cup fills up and he stops. And he sets the cup down and picks up an empty White Claw and finishes into that. Not finishes, you know what I mean, pees. And then he grabs another White Claw and a third empty vessel to pee into. Ha 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 ha. Everyone's laughing. I can't believe I just saw a man go pee-pee on stage. Everyone's laughing, and then Ari takes off his shirt. And then he takes off his underwear and takes his pants off. And he's just standing nude on the stage now. And everyone's thinking, what is this animal doing? Is this just a way to be like, hey, look what you can get away with at Skankfest? Like, everyone's kind of like, woo! Just in terms of the overall attitude of like, yeah, you know what? F it. Just get naked, dude. This place is fun. You're not at Madison Square Garden. You can do whatever you want. Then he stands over top of the tarp and he bends down and he's squatting over top of it. And now we know what's coming next, which is that Ari Shaffir took a shit on a stage. And I was there to see it. And I saw it come out of his butt. And then he picked up a pair of latex gloves and started picking up the pieces of poop, which was scary because I was very much certain, or I was keeping in mind that if anyone's going to grab a piece of shit and throw it into an audience, it's going to be Ari Shaffir. So I was scared. I was ready to run away. Maybe on the episode of Kill Tony, if this even comes out, they'll show it. They'll show the audience reaction because it was crazy. He didn't throw the shit into the crowd, though. He took out a piece of paper, unfolded it, and held it up that said on it, Ari Shaffir's Netflix special coming out in, December. Whenever it's coming out, I'm not sure. So it was all a big advertisement for Ari Shaffir's new Netflix special. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I saw a grown man, take a piss, take a shit on a stage, and it was the greatest commercial I've ever seen. Of course, at the time, I was disgusted. I'm not saying I don't find it funny. Like, I don't find that funny. That's below me. But it was like, no one was laughing. Everyone was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But also keeping in mind, this is going to be an iconic moment, at least in these circles. And it's cool that I was there for that. So yes, I saw a man take a shit. So that's Ari Shaffir for you, everybody. Who else we got? At least here, I got to see Joe List walk by 15 times, and I said hi to Mark Norman, and I talked to Ari Shaffir. I bumped into him and asked him, like, hey, was there any part of you that wanted to take a dump on this, or take that dump and throw it in the crowd? And he was like, yeah, I did, but I restrained myself and just threw the toilet paper. I was like, well, thank you for that.